Hello and welcome back to Building on a Budget Models. I'm Thomas and this is the third and final part of the Castrol Toyota TOM'S Supra GT in 1/24 scale by Tamiya. Now the first thing I would do today is the wheels. I really like the chrome look, but the 5-point spokes in the centre need to be white. So I use this 2cm Tamiya masking tape and cut around the edge with a craft knife. Then I tried to push the tape in as best I could with a cocktail stick and a cotton bud to make the mask as tight as possible. I then primed it in grey and then did a couple of coats of pure white TS26. When that had all gone on, I then found that a cocktail stick like this would scrape some of the excess paint off. Gave the tyres a little light sanding, but I wasn't too fussed about it. I chose to put the tyres on before adding the decals. I don't really like these reverse action decals, but I found that they were easier going on once the tyre was applied. I used a little bit of micro set and then applied the decal like so, then added a bit of water and pushed them down with a wet cotton bud. Left those for quite a while and then removed the backing paper and give them gentle roll using a wet cotton bud. Now then there are 4 decals that need to go onto the wheels, sort of Rays logos and Volk Racing logos and things like that. Some of them are too small to read, but just gently, carefully put them on, then don't touch the wheel for a while so that they are very definitely set before fitting the wheels to the car. Pretty happy with that. I'd left these for at least a day to make sure that the decals were set and that they didn't end up on my finger, but just to be sure I also pushed down on bits that didn't have decals on them. Remember that the front wheels are narrower than the rear wheels. Now for the rear window here, there's a nice lip around the edge which needs to be semi-gloss black. This is quite easy to do, and if you use acrylic like the Revell one here, then mistakes can be quite easily scratched off after they have dried. As you can see here. For the main glass, there's just this quarter window here which needs to be painted. I kind of generally cut this into a sort of triangle shape and then added some matte black from the inside. It's not exact and you can get window mask sets for this kit. We had issues with the post and the decals which my friend Chris sent me didn't arrive, so I printed the OL off myself, pretty happy with how it looks. Then gave the car 4 coats of semi-gloss lacquer from Halfords. Did some details like these black bits in the rear windows, and also added some black where some of the screw heads were around the wheel arches at the front and the rear. It's good to do these details after adding the lacquer because that means that you can remove them if you're not happy and don't have to worry about the decals. For the tail lights, I did the rear of these in silver and then used Tamiya Clear Red and Clear Orange to do the indicators and brake lights. One of the lights is supposed to be left clear, which I presume is a reverse light. A couple of coats there was all that was needed. There were also these indicators at the front, which were done in Clear Orange. And the headlights at the front. One bulb is moulded in the plastic, so I added a bit of silver to that, and the other 2 bulbs I added some silver to the rear and then glued them in place with some CA foam safe glue. Pretty happy with how that looks. Used the black Sharpie to do a rubber trim around the outside and then added some foam safe CA glue around the edge and then pushed those into place. Pretty happy with that. The fuel pump bit goes at the back in the centre. Then I added the glass to the headlights at the front. I'm really happy that I went with black instead of silver. Just think it adds more of a contrast. There's a little bit of vent mesh that goes here on these sort of triangular shapes. Super glue was used to fit those in place. I then used some more foam safe CA glue to put the front window into place. Now the body needs to go over the back first, and also make sure you don't add the kind of diffuser vent things because they need to go on after the body has been mated to the chassis. Once that's all gone on, you can then glue the rear window in place. And then there are some smaller details such as these tow hooks, which clip very nicely. I did these in TS49 bright red. Now that the bodywork is all joined up, you can then add these diffuser fins to the back. These are done in semi-gloss black. I put down some micro set first for the sun strip here. You first put down the white bit on its own. I added some UMP strong decal solution to help this adhere as best as possible to the shape. The Potenza logo goes on the back. And these CB headlight logos go over the front. They're ever so slightly curved so that you know which one is which. Once you're happy that the sun strip has set, there's then this Toyota TOM'S logo that goes in the middle, and the windscreen wiper clips really nicely. For the wing mirrors, I first painted them in gloss white and then used this aluminium foil. I pushed into it to get the right shape and then cut it out using a craft knife. Personally, I think this looks a lot better than using silver paint. It's a lot more reflective. I used a little bit of super glue, pushed into the holes to apply these. Notice that they are actually slightly off center, they're not symmetrical. Now then, finally, I did a bit of weathering. I used this Tamiya detail set. I used some gunmetal over the tyre logos just to make them look a little bit worn, and also used some black panel line accent and then some more of the gunmetal and then a little bit of rust underneath just to make it look a little bit race worn. And there we have it. This is a really nice kit. Obviously the decals are challenging, so I wouldn't really recommend it for the beginner, but the actual assembly is really, really good. It's an impressive car to have in your collection, and obviously Tamiya quality is still superb even after 25 years. Thank you very much for following this build. Please do leave comments down below. Tell me what you think. Have you built this kit? What did you find easy or difficult? If you haven't subscribed already, please do. If you have subscribed, make sure the bell icon is hit so that you stay notified for future builds. Thanks a lot. I'll see you soon.